Welcome to In the Crease with Ztending, presented by Goalies Matter Clothing. I'm your host, Ztending&quot. My co-host, Lou Luttrell. How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing wonderful. A little day's a little dragging. It's been a long day today, but I'm doing great. How are you?
And you still have another Premier game tonight.
I do, yeah.
So listen, there's a lot going on in the world. We can get right into the EHL talk. My team, Protect Ducks, on a crazy roll. We won our last 7 regular season games.
That's awesome.
And
It's
then we
crazy.
rolled through the first round. We have the second round of the playoffs coming up. We beat Applecore 2 games. I've been on the bench for 4 games, and it's just been so much fun to be able to be part of this team a little bit more than I already am. With all the practices we do and in our goalie worlds, but actually to be on the bench, and it's just the excitement, the energy level is up there. It's everything you want to have in a hockey season, in a hockey team.
Absolutely. They've been doing great. I've been keeping tabs on that Southern Division down there. And the Ducks are doing great. We're just getting ready to start this coming week our first round of the playoffs because there's less teams up here, so we get to start a little bit after you guys. But we're starting against the Lumberjacks Hockey Club on Monday, and hopefully big game. I think LJ is going to get the start in net, so big game for him there.
Yeah, we've been putting the weight on the shoulders of Matt Sales, our goalie grabbed from 87s, who's been a Z-tender, as we said from last episodes before, like in 2013. Like the kid is he's been a Z-tender since before he actually became a Z-tender. So it's pretty cool,
Yeah.
So going into it, this episode. We mentioned it before. There's been such a variety of Z-tenders we've had on, dealing with, their journeys and their obstacles that they've been presented. Our previous one we had was Nick Pontorio, who is a type 1 diabetic. It was diagnosed at 18. It was very rare. We had 4-time Olympian. We had our first 2 interviews. We had LJ Newell, who's one of your goalies, and Steve Glick, who's one of mine down here, who are incredibly smart. So we've had such intelligent kids, and Noraratu, who's an adult, but it's just it's so impressive to really see how well they keep their mindset positive, and they work through such adversity, and they keep powering through. And the best thing I loved about our interview today, which was with Ztender Colin Larson, who's from Georgia, plays for New England Wolves with you on a premier team, and the kid, like, biggest smile.
Yeah,
Biggest smile, like it's incredible. And when we get to this interview and you watch it, and the reason why we do this on YouTube is so it is face to face. You're getting FaceTime with us, and you're getting to see the face and not just listen to everything we have to say. But it's really important to get that, and it was really nice to see, and his smile is definitely it's definitely can control the room.
Absolutely. He's always got that smile on his face. Well, I mean, maybe probably not when he's in the game and he's focused and serious, but yeah, he helped me out a bunch last year with the Lakers youth organization when I was coaching their goalies. He came and helped instructed, just like LJ's doing with me this year, and he's always had that smile on his face, and wanted to give back to the kids and help teach them as well. So he's a happy-go-lucky guy, and I'm glad he's still got the smile on his face with everything he's gone through this year. So,
well, listen, let's get right into it. He's got a big story to tell, some crazy adversity, and let's get right into it. Here's Colin Larson.
All righty, Z-Tenders. Our next guest here, I'm excited to have him on. It's been a while since I've talked to him. He's from Georgia. He is a former USA Hockey national champion, Atlanta Fire hockey alumni, and New England Wolves goaltender, Colin Larson. How are you, bud?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to have you on. Um, with most of our Z-Tenders, so they don't really know some of our guys from up north in New Hampshire here, and we've got a lot of Z-Tenders all over the world. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your playing career growing up?
So yeah, like as you said, like I started playing hockey down in Georgia, and originally I played for the Atlanta Knights, and then my U14 year I switched over to play for the Atlanta Fire, and we ended up winning at states, going to nationals. Nobody thought we were gonna do anything at nationals. We're just like, I mean, nobody would think a team from Georgia, and our semifinals game, our other goalie was in net, and 2 goals go in. Then I go in, 2 goals quick on me go in. We're down 4-0 in the first 4 minutes. But then, like, we battled back and ended up winning in overtime to go to the championship, the finals and nationals. And we ended up playing New Hampshire Avalanche in the finals at nationals and ended up beating them that my U14 year. And I played there for 3 years. And then after U16s, I was talking with Trimble and ended up coming up to play for the New England Wolves.
Awesome. And for those listeners who don't know who Trimble is Andrew Trimble is the co-owner and GM of the New England Wolves. So he is primarily responsible for doing some of the recruiting and getting kids off to college as well. Speaking of the national championship, where was it that year, and how was it? How did you feel it impacted you as part of your playing career?
I mean, I felt like it allowed me to be seen by coaches and stuff like that. And it was actually in Coral Springs, Florida, which was in the springtime, really nice. It was afterwards, we stayed an extra day or whatever. We went to the beach and stuff like that. And it was really exciting winning because, like, again, nobody thought we would have done anything there.
It's very rare for a team down south to make it that far, let alone win it.
Yeah. We were like the second team in our organization to go like win nationals for the Atlanta Fire. A couple years back, Chase Pearson, he played for the Fire. Right now, he actually is on the AHL Grand Rapids Griffins for the Detroit Red Wings. So, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. And last year you played for the EHLP team, New England Wolves. What was that experience like, making the transition from U16 to juniors?
It was fun. I mean, it was a jump. I mean, a lot of kids were older than me. I was one of the youngest on the team. I still like battled hard though, and I mean, I got a good amount of games. My first game that I played in the season, we were in Connecticut, and I battled hard. We got it and went to overtime, and I held them through overtime. But unfortunately, my coach didn't like know me in a shootout or anything like that, so I didn't get to play the shootout. But we ended up losing that game. But it was a pretty good season last year when I played.
Awesome. And then this past season, this year, you made the commitment to come back to the New England Wolves, but it was a little bit of a strange year for you. Would you kind of feel comfortable letting us in on what happened this year with you personally?
So, yeah, I mean, I was up there for like the preseason training and stuff like that. And throughout the week, I just was having like a headache and it wouldn't go away. And I just thought like, oh, nothing of it. Like, oh, I always get headaches and dehydrated. I'm working out like all the time. And I was trying to drink more and more water. And it's just like, I'm trying to battle through it. And then we end up going, just running up the ski slopes at Gunstock. And all of a sudden I feel like I'm going to pass out. And I just like get lightheaded, pass out. And one of my teammates ends up taking me to the hospital. And they at first thought I had heart issues because my blood pressure was so high. And for an 18-year-old, having high blood pressure is just not normal. So they ended up doing more tests. I had a 2-hour MRI, which keeping still for that long is crazy. And they ended up noticing I had Chiari Malformation, which is like, it's basically when like brain tissue like seeps down into your spinal canal, and it cuts off flow and drainage from your brain to the rest of your body and stuff like that, which obviously isn't good.
Definitely not. And then, so after that, you made the decision to go back home, right?
Yeah, we decided, because at first they said we were talking with the doctors, and we thought they said, oh, like 8 weeks, maybe I could play by the end of the season. But when they said 8 weeks, they were like 8 weeks till you can do like basic stuff. Like I wasn't able to walk for the first like 4 weeks of, I was stuck in my bed. Like it was funny because my dad actually got a cane for me to try to walk around with, but he'd walk behind me in case I fell. Cause there was times where like, I just would collapse. Like everything would go like black and I'll just fall to the ground. But yeah, like there's a picture of me just like in my cane walking through the house.
That's funny. And they did the surgery back home in Georgia, right?
Yeah, so it was supposed to be October 12th, but I ended up getting COVID, and they had to push it back, a month. And the date that they had it for, the earliest they could do, was Friday the 13th in November.
Oh boy.
So going in having brain surgery on Friday the 13th was a little nerve-wracking, but
yeah, I would say so. I probably wouldn't want to go in for surgery on Friday the 13th either. So now after the surgery, what's your routine like with your recovery and everything?
So after 6 weeks, I got the stitches out, and or 4 weeks, something like that. And I started physical therapy, and I've been doing that since Christmas time, and I'm still doing that twice a week. Actually, what's exciting is that last week, here they have these slider boards or whatever where you can put I seen it on the Ztending page or whatever. So it's kind of like that, and you put like the things over your shoes, and I just practice doing strides and stuff like that. And he holds on to me like I'm in like a harness type of thing. He holds on to me so I don't fall. So, which is good. And eventually he's trying to get me to do into a home physical therapy plan, so I don't have to go twice a week and stuff like that. But I've been riding the bike. I've been going on like walks with either my parents or friends, like just little trails and stuff like that, just to get back in shape. And pretty much that's about it. I've been also like baking and cooking to keep myself occupied. I mean,
yeah, I was just going to mention that you told me you were picking up bacon over the course of your
before
recovery.
you go on the baking part, hiking is such a great exercise, just in the most basic form of it, because you're not just walking on smooth pavement. You actually have to pay attention, and you have to be a little bit more precise in your walking, and you know, the little obstacles that you have, stones or whatnot, and then elevation that you're gaining.
Yeah, and also down here, I mean, the weather's great. I mean, today it's like almost 70 degrees. So
it's
awesome.
Snowing here today. It was like 45 earlier in the week, and then now today it's snowing again.
Yeah, I miss the snow.
So what have you baked and cooked, and like what's your favorite part, and is there something that you're looking forward to cooking?
Well, I mean, I cook, so like my parents both work a ton and stuff like that. My mom's a teacher, and my dad's always working he works for this like law firm company or whatever. And so I'm always cooking dinner and stuff like that for them. So like, and I make lunch for my dad. Actually, it's not the healthiest lunch, but I thought it was pretty good. I took 2 glazed donuts and I cut them in half and put ham and cheese, and I put it in a pan and fried the one side of them. They were so good. But I mean, I've made like buffalo chicken with spaghetti squash. Like it was like a buffalo chicken, like creamy buffalo chicken that you put on top. I've made bunch of stir fry stuff. Last night I made a honey garlic shrimp that I put over a veggie fried rice. So that was good.
Nice. That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
All of it does, actually.
I think you might be cooking for our New Hampshire camp.
Yeah.
Right?
So what's I guess the prognosis? When do they think you'll be able to get back onto the ice at the earliest?
So we've called the doctors a couple times and they're like, we're not talking about this till May. We told you May is when your MRI is. So we have an MRI mid-May probably is when they're going to schedule it, and another 2-hour MRI because they have to check where my whole neck, my whole brain, my spinal cord, everything like that. And hopefully I don't need another surgery either for my actual Chiari or the cyst in my spinal cord. And hopefully May I can finally start ice skating. And I mean, I've been keeping in shape. I've been not overeating, not undereating. I've been eating nutritious stuff, except for obviously that one meal.
Yeah,
the donuts. But I mean, I feel like I'm still in shape. I mean, obviously, I'm on the treadmill and walking and stuff like that. So it's not like I'm just sitting around just watching Netflix all day. So
that's
hopefully
awesome.
it'd be a fast recovery or fast back to where I get to normal.
With the rehab you've been doing, what do you think? You said you were doing it twice a week. What do you think that you've done there that's really helped you and you really enjoyed it in the process?
Well, a major thing that they've worked on with me is balance. And I mean, as a goalie, you need to have a strong core and balance and stuff like that. And when I first started there, balancing on one leg, obviously after surgery, it's hard. And I couldn't even do it for 30 seconds. And now, I'm able to balance on one leg for a minute and stuff like that. And also they had me balancing one foot on a rocker board, one foot on a Bosu ball, balance squats, squats on a Bosu ball, certain stuff like that. Balance when I'm moving my neck back and forth. So you're I don't know.
Throw your equilibrium off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And balancing on one foot, I take a medicine ball, put it behind my back, and I bounce it off a trampoline and catch it. So that's been helping me with tracking. And it's a weighted ball. It's 10 or 5 or 10 pounds or whatever. So I'm still practicing tracking stuff with that too, which helps me. And
that's
obviously
awesome. That's awesome.
I've been doing leg workouts too. He's had me, I take a band and that goes around my knees, and you walk back and forth in a squat, wall sit, stuff like that. So
that's great that even the recovery from the surgery will help you keep your skills sharp.
Those are all exercises we do during our summer games.
Yeah. That's awesome. So we kind of end every interview with the same question, and it's, what advice would you give young Ztenders, young goalies, after going through what you have, or with your life experiences and where you are now? What would you give them when they're just starting out?
Yeah. So I would say every time you're on the ice, just play the best you can, because you never know when you're going to be on the ice again. And sometimes when I was younger, I definitely took for granted having a ton of ice time. So just always play like it could be your last time on the ice.
That's awesome advice. And Colin, thank you. This interview's been awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely glad to talk to you again and see your face finally.
Yeah.
I know we've talked on the phone a few times, but
yeah, man, it's definitely been a while. And not only that, man, to do it with a smile, that's huge. And it's very important to be able to smile and look at things and have a good, healthy outlook on life. Thanks,
absolutely.
bud.
All right. Thanks. Welcome back, Ztenders. That was a great interview from Colin Larson. Lots of insight in what he's been going through over the past years and how he's staying positive and keeping a positive mindset, with a tough road ahead of him getting back into playing the game of hockey. So he's still got, you know, a little bit of more time before he can possibly touch the ice in May. Hopefully he'll be able to get back on, and we'll see him back up here in New Hampshire. But
he's embracing the process, you know,
he
like
is.
he's embracing it with a smile on his face, and he's doing everything. And like you said, he was talking about the balance he was working on.
Absolutely.
And all that, and a lot of stuff that we do in our summer camps, which is it's crucial. The stuff that we do helps rebuild the kids, and it's very important that we do that between, you know, spring, take a break, summer, start rebuilding, and then let's get into the season. You know, and the stuff that he's doing, it's awesome. It's awesome to see that. But man, listen, from a team from Georgia and to win nationals.
Yeah.
Like
that's a big big step. You know, there's plenty of teams that we've been seeing from Arizona that have tier 1 teams and playing all over the country. You know, it's crazy that, you know, hockey's expanded so far that we're pulling teams from, you know, places, you know, when you and I were that age, we're probably not seeing any teams from, let alone winning a national championship that are coming up and winning national championships now.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you know, also crazy. So last season, the Charleston Colonials have a Ztender from back home here, Trevor Giborowski, and they won their USPHL title. So I mean, there's a lot of you know, some good Southern hockey there, and Ztender's playing and getting on these teams and winning.
Yeah.
So, and they have a lot of good coaches down there. They have a great player skills coach down there, Hunter Bishop Hockey, who's been down there. He played down there and he played overseas, and he's made Charleston his home. And it's really cool to see because he's done so much, especially during all the quarantine time. He has probably been one of the biggest Zoom coaches, because he's had kids from all over North America and everywhere, you know, tuning in. He's had like over 100 kids at a time, like doing his Zoom sessions. And we
awesome.
we thought we were like big deal when we were like hitting 40, like holy crud, like look at this. We have so many kids from all over the world joining in on us, working out with us during quarantine time. But man, and you know, that's the other thing too. Speaking of quarantine, you know, there's so many different stories that have come out of there, and it's great to hear these stories and hear everybody get through everything, especially now this time, and which we hope is, you know, the tail end, or getting close to the tail end. But you know, we always have to make sure that we strive through and work through it. And as we said before, work through it together as a Ztending community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, Colin's, I think he's embracing this whole process that's going forward, even with quarantine. You know, I think like he talked with, and you said, with the balance work and the hand-eye stuff, he may even come back from this injury better than he was before with some of that stuff. And, you know, he's picked up cooking along the way too. So I'm gonna have him cook for us next time we see him in person. Sounds
yeah,
like
man,
some good meals. So
we're gonna have to bring him in for camps just to be our caterer and coach. You know,
oh yeah,
and that's a whole that's huge too. And having a good physical therapist can go a long way, and like you said, make you stronger and than you ever have been before. There's a lot that goes into it, and you're rebuilding your body, and you know, you don't have to have an injury just to do that. You can, you know, just because, you know, you think you're in the best shape in your life, work on your balance. One of the things I like to do as much as I can, and I put it on Instagram before, I like to slackline and work on my balance as much as I possibly can. And I was doing it in the snowstorms that we had here in Jersey. And, you know, working on your balance, it doesn't have to be a slackline. It could just be standing on one foot. It will make the biggest difference in the world. And we do, during our summer camps, we do a lot of, you know, 1 foot balance and a lot of different, you know, anti-rotational drills that make you really focus on controlling your core, keeping it tight, and having good balance. And also, not only just that, the most important part, having good breathing. And that is one of the things that will really get you to be able to focus on and your body and be one with your body, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Forrest does a great job with yoga and the breathing during the yoga as well. So it's a complete package that we're using here to translate into on ice performance. So.
Yeah, speaking of Coach Forrest, we're going to have him in a couple episodes. He's, we wanted to get quite a few in before we had him. We just wouldn't start off with a banger, although we've had 4-time Olympian. We've had every episode so far has been huge, and it's cool. Honestly, we have so many things prepared just for one season, and we have so many more seasons to be had. But so let's get into our next segment. We go through our Apex video analysis. We have Ztender, Andrew Selver. This kid is very much probably incredible student. This kid, he's soaking up everything you're saying. He definitely makes sure that he is listening to you, and then also when you're done speaking, he's analyzing what you're saying, and you see it. You literally see it, that he is visualizing it in his head, what I'm saying, and whatever any other coach is saying, and then trying to apply as best as he can. And in this drill, we have a screen drill where the puck gets passed from this. We're during our lesson time, so the puck gets passed from a side to top of the crease angle, and you have to keep a short side sight line and then shift through it to the far side. And you see how well he gets his body on the angle, and then not only just that, but keeps the sight line and then shifts over very quickly and efficiently and getting his head on a proper trajectory of the shot angle.
Absolutely, and he does, like you were saying, he does a great job at it, and it's something that all goalies have to continue to work on. We're working on it a lot up here in New Hampshire with the Wolves junior teams. We face a lot of teams that screen a lot, and they've got some guys that are much above our height challenged selves. So they're touching 6'3", 6'4", and standing in front of 6'1" goalies. So they have to use those sight lines to see around them.
All right, let's get to it. Apex video analysis with Andrew Selver. In this Apex video analysis, we have Ztender Andrew Selver working on a screen drill where the puck is being passed across to the top of the circle, and that player walks across, and Andrew's going to have to fight the screen and make sure that he holds his sight line as long as he can on the short side shoulder where the puck was coming from. Pass comes across. Super important to note here is he's getting his body in place while keeping the head in line to get proper sight line, eyes down the ice. Body shifts over so that way he stays with the angle of the puck. Once he sees the shooter commit, nice good push, shift over while staying, very important, staying low, setting the feet for the shot, and being able to drop down. So there's a lot going on in this sequence here. One of the main key points, again, is having a nice, good, symmetrical stance, gloves up and out together, keeping the eyes on the sight line as you push over. Make sure you're getting your body on the angle and not cheating just to see the sight line. Staying low in your stance. Shifting over and getting your head over as quick as you can. Maintaining a low, solid stance and setting the feet for the shot. And then adding on a nice knuckles down on top of it. Anything you'd like to add, Coach Lou?
No, I think he does a really great job when he's looking from one side of the screen to the other, picking the puck back up, because there's that split second where he loses the puck, but because he's doing everything right beforehand and afterwards, he's able to pick that puck up and get his vision right on the puck. right away.
And yes, and once he makes that save, notice how he is rotating his head down with the trajectory of the puck. He's completely focusing on with that puck, moving his head, making sure that he's staying with it all the way through. Nice low base, good set feet, following that puck, and immediately watch how he's following that puck with his head. And then, of course, once I get that rebound, I'm going to finish it. Shout out to Ztender James Yin for the screen. And that's our Apex video analysis. Welcome back from our Apex video analysis presented by Upper Hand Software. That is such that drill is so important. We do this drill as often as possible, is working on screens. You can never work on screens enough, and taking your vision away from the puck and controlling, being able to have a controlled settings where it's consistent angles that you're dealing with. And it really helps the goalies be able to work on that good shift over and not just being lazy and letting the puck go and holding the sight lines, but not getting the body in position, which is going to make you slower to get in there. You got to make sure you get your body in there, keep the sight line, and then shift over. Man, the kid makes it look easy too.
I know he does.
He really, he's a great athlete. Dad is a principal and former football coach, and Andrew is a really good catcher in baseball and very good goalie at that. He's a student, and everything I hear from his dad, all his coaches love him, and of course his teachers love him as well. And it's very important to be a good student all around, not just on the ice, but in the classroom, and not just in those settings, but in life in general, and making sure that you don't have the blinders on. And then, this is the part of the third part of live, love, learn hockey, which is the learn part. It is always keeping the brain turned on, making sure that you're able to accept, any information being brought to you in an unbiased mind. And it's very hard to just collect data and not form an opinion. Collect as much data as you possibly can and wait to form an opinion until you have all the information that you feel that you need. So it's really cool to see some awesome body movement from a younger Ztender. He's a Bantam goalie, and he really makes it look smooth. And I can't wait to see this kid grow up even more.
Oh yeah, he seems like he's got a bright future ahead of him. So yeah.
So man, what an exciting episode.
Yeah, this has been a good one, I thought. And we always kind of like to end on a little bit of motivational mental talk in our podcast, and I think Colin, at the end of his interview, brought up a good one, is embrace every time you're out in the ice, because you never know when it's going to get taken away from you. And he's got a great story. He was set to be the starter for the EHLP team this year at 18, and it had a bright future ahead of him. And something he didn't even know about happened and took that away from him. So he's staying positive, keeping his mental health up and in the right area. And, he's looking towards the future, hoping to get back on the ice and just, living every moment in the present, just like our live part of live, love, learn hockey. So yeah, this has been a great episode going on here. And Ztenders, we thank you for joining us, and like our YouTube, right? We got to get our likes up there so we can keep bringing you more content, more good interviews, and keeping you with the information for you to learn. So this has been good, and we will see you again next week.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.